If a group of attacking giants accidentally crashed into Earth again, what interesting things would happen? The administrator curled his lips and entered a string of mysterious code. A group of giants marched mightily toward Earth. Day 1. The village was as peaceful and tranquil as ever. The villagers lived their simple lives day after day, eating and drinking as usual. Laughter and joy echoed in every corner of the village. Yet amidst this joyful atmosphere, a boy standing 1.6 meters tall seemed out of place. He stood alone, intently practicing sword techniques against the giant scarecrow. His eyes reflected determination. Every swing of his wooden sword carried a sense of persistence. The next day, 3 suicidal giants pierced through Earth's atmosphere. From Earth's perspective, 3 massive fireballs streaked toward the ground like meteors. They landed precisely in a lake near the village, sending towering splashes into the air. The giant's purpose seemed to be just to cool its scorching body with a bath. Curious villagers hummed tunes as they heard the commotion. They ran toward the lake full of anticipation, fantasizing about finding some extraordinary treasure from beyond. When they approached the lakeside and saw the 3 massive giant corpses, everyone was so terrified their legs went weak and faces turned pale as paper. But a strange glint flashed in the eyes of the sword practicing boy. Without hesitation, he turned and quickly ran toward the village. Soon he returned hurriedly, holding a butcher knife, and began carefully dissecting the giant. Removed a thick specimen sample, returned home. He couldn't wait to observe the specimen under the microscope. At that very moment, the scene under the microscope made him jump back in terror. An image of a purple demon appeared in the view. The little boy ignored his inner fear, immediately ran to the podium to tell the villagers about his discovery, urgently warned everyone to be cautious of the purple demon. However, the villagers scoffed at the discovery made by this 1.6 meter tall child. No one believed him. The little boy returned home silently, filled with disappointment, clutching a photo with his parents tightly in hand. He was an orphan, feeling even more lonely and helpless at this moment. The third day, the administrator frowned, pondering how to solve the problem of giants burning up upon entering the atmosphere. After some thought, he entered a string of mysterious code. Instantly 5 brand new giants entered the atmosphere completely unscathed, free-falling towards the village, landed precisely in the lake by the village again. After the giants landed safely this time, they strode menacingly towards the village. Villagers in the distance panicked and fled in all directions at the sight. Only the little boy pushed a massive ballista without hesitation, walked resolutely towards the giants. The boy skillfully operated the ballista. With a whoosh, the sharp arrow shot out like a meteor, instantly killed the giant walking at the forefront. But soon the arrows were exhausted. Facing the remaining giants, the little boy didn't flinch at all. He took a deep breath, made an astonishing decision, launched himself as an arrow toward the giant. Holding a butcher knife in his hand, he drew an arc in the air and accurately stabbed the giant. Under his fierce attack, the last giant also collapsed with a crash. The panicked villagers were now completely stunned. Then they burst into enthusiastic cheers, lifting the little boy high into the air. At this moment, the boy became the village hero. The villagers' rapid changing attitude was astonishing. Just moments ago, they had regarded him as a madman. Now someone had made a crown for him, as if they had already accepted him as the village chief. The 4th day, the administrator refused to accept defeat, summoned 50 giants flying towards Earth. After the previous battles, the villagers became quicker in their reactions. They worked together to build a very sturdy castle. Inside the castle, blacksmiths tirelessly forged weapons specifically designed to kill giants. The 50 giants landed at the usual spot as scheduled, and menacingly advanced towards the castle. The villagers on the castle showed no fear, and fired arrows at the giants, one after another. For a moment, arrows fell like rain. With the united efforts of the villagers, 50 giants fell before even reaching the castle. The 5th day, the administrator decided to give the villagers a more formidable challenge. He dispatched 100 giants, including giants with special abilities. The little boy stood on the city wall, holding a telescope, closely observing the movements of the giants. Soon he spotted the leading evil giant. The little boy immediately ordered the soldiers to shoot at the evil giant. However, the evil titan moved too quickly. The soldiers' arrows couldn't harm him at all. Instead, the giant army behind fell one after another under the villagers' attacks. Just as everyone was getting anxious, the evil titan began climbing the city wall using its sharp claws. At the critical moment, the little boy displayed extraordinary courage. He shouted and leaped directly onto the evil titan's head. Weapons in his hands rained down like hail. Finally, he landed perfectly, with a 180-degree backflip, while the evil titan staggered a few times and collapsed with a crash. The administrator watched in stunned silence from the side. This completely exceeded his imagination. He quietly followed the little boy into the castle, saw the little boy lost in thought before a blueprint for a long time, then began to make something. The 6th day, the battle grew increasingly intense. 3 female giants took the lead, leading 200 giants. They charged menacingly towards the village. The villagers were well prepared. They set up many spike barricades outside the city walls, attempting to prevent the giants from approaching. Under the command of the female giant, ordinary giants began frantically destroying the barricades. Although the barricades were quickly cleared, the giants also suffered heavy losses. However, the female giant was extremely powerful. One of her could match 50 ordinary giants. They stepped on their comrades' bodies trying to climb the city wall. At this moment, the soldiers led by the little boy launched an attack. They carried the repeating crossbow newly invented by the little boy. The firepower was fierce. Seeing this, the female giant immediately hardened her body. The repeating crossbow's attack instantly became ineffective. The little boy didn't panic. He quickly changed tactics, commanding the soldiers to shoot at the ground. The ground was blasted with deep craters. The female giant was trapped inside. With no other choice, the female giant transformed into an ice axe to evade attacks. The villagers seized the chance to fill the craters with stones and soil, successfully temporarily resolved the threat of the female giant. The 7th day, the administrator was completely enraged. He dispatched several powerful beast giants, determined to deal a heavy blow to the villagers. The villagers stood ready for battle. Each person tightly gripped their crossbows. Their eyes shone with determination. The administrator saw the villagers' tight defenses. A plan formed in his mind. He placed some TNT at the base of the city wall. With a loud explosion, a huge gap was blown in the city wall. The beast titan seized the chance to charge toward the castle. While running, he hurled giant stones at the city wall. Boulders fell like raindrops, pounding the city walls until they were on the verge of collapse. The little boy remained calm in the face of danger, leading the soldiers to quickly join the battle. They used the newly developed 3-dimensional maneuvering equipment, nimbly maneuvering between the giants to launch attacks. Just as the battle reached its climax, a tremendous explosion suddenly echoed. It turned out the little boy took advantage of the giant's attention. Being focused entirely on the castle, quietly dug a tunnel leading to the beast titan's feet. He paid him back in his own coin. Placed TNT there. As the explosion sounded, the beast titan was blown to smithereens, leaving only ruins behind. The 8th day, the administrator decided to go for broke, summoned over 1,000 giants flying toward Earth. At this moment, the villagers had not yet had time to react. Completely repair the damaged city wall. Most places only used earth and wood. Simply patched it up. Giants surged forth like a tide, neatly arranged not far away. As the giants drew closer, the village was unusually quiet. There were no signs of resistance. The administrator found it very strange. Upon closer inspection, they realized the villagers in the castle were all made of scarecrows. It turned out to be the little boy's empty fort strategy. Just as the administrator suddenly realized the truth, a massive explosion erupted from the center of the castle. Over 1,000 giants all collapsed in the explosion. It turned out that after the administrator left yesterday, the little boy gathered all the villagers, told everyone to leave the castle, and placed scarecrows to confuse the administrator. Meanwhile, they placed explosives in every corner of the castle. A large amount of TNT was placed.
The 9th day,
The administrator became furious out of shame, decided to use all their savings. He first used code to search for the villagers' coordinates, then teleported directly to the villagers' location. This is a mysterious research institute. There are CNC machines inside. Many scientists are busily working with tension. The administrator continued to delve deeper, surprised to find many spaceships parked here. He was startled in his heart. Do the villagers want to leave Earth altogether? The administrator immediately tried to teleport all the giants here. However, the command failed. It turned out this place was protected by some kind of energy field. The giants couldn't be teleported. The administrator had to search around for the energy source of the field. Finally found it at the center of the laboratory. He destroyed the energy source without hesitation, preparing to summon giants again, but few giants remained at this point. The villagers piloted the spaceship and launched a fierce bombardment against the giants. Under the villagers' assault, giants fell one after another. On the 10th day, the administrator went completely insane. He set the giant spawn rate to maximum, a giant army nearly the size of Earth. Like dark clouds, they swiftly advanced toward Earth. Faced with such a massive threat, the villagers did not retreat in the slightest. They took the initiative to confront the enemy by piloting spaceships, ventured into outer space. In the vast expanse of the universe, a thrilling battle erupted. The villagers nimbly maneuvered their spacecraft between the giants. Cannons and guns fired simultaneously. Although the giant army was enormous, but under the villagers' fierce attacks, they were completely defenseless. Shells streaked through space like meteors, accurately striking the giants. Amid the hail of bullets, the giants were riddled with holes. After a fierce battle, the giant legion was finally completely defeated. The villagers successfully defended Earth. Cheers resounded throughout the universe. From then on, the world returned to its former peace.